about this now with Dr. Patricia Lewis, an expert in international security and nuclear capability from the Foreign Affairs think tank Chatham House, and Kate Allen, Director of Amnesty. Welcome, both of you. How alarmed, Dr. Lewis, should North Korea's neighbours be when it comes to their nuclear capability?
They are very alarmed, of course. They've been living with this for a long time, however, so there's a certain getting used to it. In the past, North Korea has used the nuclear capability that's been developing as a way of blackmailing to get money for so-called humanitarian aid, but sometimes that's been diverted. So a lot of this is the same, and yet the technical capability has now changed, with the missiles that they've been developing now having much longer reach, possibly being able to reach the United States itself. But certainly South Korea and Japan have been targetable for quite a while. They don't yet, as far as we know, have nuclear warheads to go on top. And so there's on top of the missile.
And just explain the significance of that for our audience.
Right, so a ballistic missile is essentially a ball that's thrown up into the air and comes back down again. If you change the angle, you can get it to go longer distance, but its accuracy is very poor. So if you put a conventional warhead on top and it misses, which it will do most of the time, it won't have a huge amount of impact. If you put a nuclear warhead on top and it misses, it still has a massive impact. And that's why ballistic missiles and nuclear warheads go together. Now, developing a small enough warhead to go on top, that's light enough to travel a long way, that's the trick, and we don't think they're quite there yet, so it's whether or not we've got this window still to negotiate.
Okay. Kate, so much of the focus is on North Korea's nuclear capabilities. Does that overshadow the grotesque human rights abuses that go on in that country?
Well, the human rights abuses are, as you say, grotesque. The UN had a commission which reported 2-3 years ago, and the author of that commission report said that at the end of the Second World War, people said, if only we'd known, we would have done something. And he said, we do know what is happening in North Korea, and it is hundreds of thousands of people in absolutely shocking prison conditions, in camps where they are not charged. You can be taken into a camp for showing not enough support for the regime. Your entire family can be put in that camp with you, and you will be there until you die. It is appalling. There are mass executions, torture, rape. It is an astonishing regime, and yes, we do not talk enough about those human rights abuses. The situation with potential nuclear weapons is massively worrying, and behind that sits a population that are traumatised and abused in the most shocking of ways.
And it would seem there is little we, the West, South Korea, China, can do about it.
Well, I'm very encouraged by the fact that the international community has come together about this issue in North Korea. I'd like to see them come together about the human rights issues in North Korea. That UN commission, which we as Amnesty gave our evidence to, said that North Korea should be referred to the International Criminal Court. Now, this is the way that the world holds people who are responsible for such abuses to account, and it is the first step that is necessary.
Sorry to interrupt, even if that happened, it would be symbolic. I mean, they wouldn't turn up, they wouldn't care.
But it would be a first step. It would be a step saying to that regime, the people responsible for this will be held to account. Individually, personally, you will be held to account. That day will come. We will be gathering the evidence. We will be talking to the survivors of those camps. We will find your names, and we will one day make sure that there is justice. And that is a start to people knowing that they simply cannot get away with the impunity that they are at the moment.
Dr. Lewis, the new sanctions are going to cost North Korea around an extra $1 billion. How much of an impact will that have, and what sort of an impact on, first of all, the regime, and secondly, the people of North Korea?
Well, first of all, they'd have to be implemented. Sanctions are notoriously leaky. The idea, of course, is to aim at hurting the elite. And of course, the problem with sanctions is that sometimes they also hurt even further the people. But I think, as Kate rightly says, we're in a situation where the people are hurting so badly, unless they're in the elite, that it's certainly worth doing. The important thing, I think, is that we've got China and Russia in the Security Council with a United States resolution, and this has required an enormous effort on the part of the United States. They're to be congratulated. And it shows, I think, how worried both China and Russia are, how they're working together now with the United States. And this sends a very big message to North Korea that perhaps matters more than the amount of money that we're talking about, the symbolic isolation by the two countries that has supported them in the Security Council before.
Thank you both. Thank you very much, Kate Allen from Amnesty and Patricia Lewis from the Foreign Affairs think tank Chatham House. Thank you.